We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230, KGEO, 1410 KARI, 1000 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and 3 times a week across the Internet nationwide through KNUCmedia.com. Our guest by phone, Barry Goldwater Jr., my old congressman, actually Clay and my old congressman from the San Fernando Valley, and a family name that needs no introduction. His dad was a presidential candidate in 1964, senator from Arizona. So,
last month we had a big celebration in Washington, D.C., where we celebrated the 50th anniversary of when he was nominated. Can you believe that was 50 years ago?
God.
When Senator Goldwater was nominated for the Republican candidate for president? But there were a lot of young kids that were running around working on that campaign. And here we are 50 years later, we all got together in Washington. There were walkers and oxygen bottles and canes and, a lot of gray hair. But it was the same old group of people that rallied around my father, and it was a wonderful, wonderful reunion.
That's before my time, Barry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But, history is always here.
Yes.
If you study it, you're going to learn about the future.
That's true.
And if you don't study it, you're going to make the same mistakes which you guys are doing, obviously.
And Barry, I have to tell you, one of my the 4 years we've been doing this, one of my favorite shows is the last one we had with you. I gave a copy of it to a friend of mine, and he was laughing hysterically, called me up and said, hey, that was a great show. And we talked a lot about your dad and his relationship with JFK. They had an interesting relationship.
Yeah, John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy, was a good friend of my father's. My dad, they both had the same ailment. They had too much calcium in their bones, and my dad used to go down to the White House, and they'd have the same doctor inject some kind of cortisone or stuff into the joints, and they both lay down on a couch in the White House and get injected. But my father would go down to the White House from time to time and drink whiskey with John Kennedy. And the story goes, and my dad confirmed this, that they had planned to run against each other and get one airplane and travel around the country, much like the Lincoln-Douglas debates, and debate each other.
Great idea.
Well, wouldn't that be nice if we could do that today?
Would that be refreshing to have it done that way?
Yeah.
That way you get ideas and thoughts out rather than all the propaganda that both parties are good at spewing. Speaking of which, I was just curious what your take is on Jeb Bush, putting all the signs out there that he's going to run.
I like Jeb Bush. I think he's a good compromise candidate. I think for the Republican Party. You have to look at what at his history. He was a good governor.
Yes, he was.
He gets high marks in Florida for administering the business of the state of Florida while he was governor. He speaks Spanish, so he has some attachment there. But I like Jeb, and he comes from a distinguished family of service. So I think he's going to be a formidable candidate.
Yeah, except he's interested in Common Core on the educational side, and he's a big supporter of immigration reform.
What's wrong with immigration reform?
Depends on what it's going to be, how you're going to reform it.
Of course that is, and that'll evolve as the discussion goes forward.
Well, hopefully we'll get rid of
There's nothing wrong. I mean, you take 10 people, and they'll all have a little bit different opinion on how to resolve immigration. And as far as Common Core is concerned, that's okay. That's maybe one, maybe two issues that we don't agree with him on, but that doesn't disqualify him for being a good administrator of the people's business.
The biggest problem we have, Barry, is we have single-issue voters. Those that are for or against abortion is a prime example of that.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, you don't have to agree. You're only one vote.
Who are single-issue.
Pardon?
But the general public are looking for leadership. They're not fine-tuned and educated in the details of abortion or immigration, or they're looking for leadership above all, I think.
Well, isn't that what we have right now in the White House?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're kind.
Yeah. What do you think, though, as far as Jeb Bush is concerned? Is that because Romney's, making waves like he wants to run again. Is that is Bush kind of another type of Romney? I mean, is that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. But I think we have to let him talk to us. Give him the podium, and let's hear what he has to say. I just personally like him as a human being.
Yeah, I
He's
do
a
too.
stellar human being.
Well, he seems like a nice guy.
A good family man, and he was a good governor. I think he has those credentials going for him. But let's listen to him. Give him a chance. Let's see what he's about. Common Core is only one issue. As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to have him stand up and say, let's do away with the Department of Education. We don't need the federal government telling the states how to educate our kids.
Amen.
Yeah,
that's the solution to that. And we've had No Child Left Behind, Common Core. I mean, every president has their own educational fix, and we ought to just get away from the federal involvement in education. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I totally agree. We're having a conversation with Barry Goldwater Jr.
Let's get the federal Bureau of everything away from a lot of stuff, not just education.
Yeah, as much as possible.
We need to shrink government.
Yeah, and you were right on as far as we had you on the show a couple weeks before the election, and you were right on as far as your prediction. I was a little surprised that it turned out as great as it did for the Republicans. Do you think Hillary's going to be the Democratic nominee?
Yeah, I think she probably will be. Yeah, I think she will be. And what's her name from Massachusetts, the new senator?
Warren.
Yeah.
Warren.
Yeah, another
She's
liberal.
Terrific. She represents the far left of her party.
About as far as you can get.
Yeah, but she's a good spokesman. I happen to agree with her a lot about what she's talking about now, about breaking, Wall Street, and how the federal government just bails out Wall Street, and we ought to stop that. And that's what she was trying to do in her debate on the budget last week.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I agree with her and with you on that one as well. I can't believe that I agree with something with her at all, with Elizabeth Warren, because she is so far to the left. But yeah, I agree with that.
See, the thing is, you got to ask, what is Hillary Clinton offering? What is her program? What does she believe in? We don't know anything about Hillary Clinton other than she was Bill Clinton's wife, and she was in the State Department
and did nothing.
She's not been in a public forum where she has explained who Hillary Clinton is. What does she stand for? What does she want to do? How does she see the country? She hasn't done that yet, so we don't know. But yes, I think she'd be a formidable opponent.
Yeah, I was listening to a Democratic spokesperson the other day talking about Hillary, and she admitted that the problem is whenever Hillary talks, her poll numbers go down. So what they've done is they've tried to shelter her as much as possible from being out there, because she's really not that good out there, on the cuff when she has to talk.
Well, it's still a little early to, we can kick this around a lot, but it's still a little early. What I might say is that out of the 50 governors, the Republicans, have 31 of them. Mm-hmm. And there's some darn good governors. There's some darn good, successful governors who have balanced their state budget, who have increased employment in their state, have created good educational systems, and we have a huge inventory of excellent leaders from the governor's point of view that we as Republicans have to pick from.
The last thing we need is another senator to destroy this country.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Most of our good presidents have come from the ranks of our governors.
Right.
And when you think about it, like you say, I mean, we've got Kasich, we've got
Walker,
we've got Jindal. I mean, we've got a Perry. We've got a plethora of great governors that we can choose from. So there's a lot of good leaders out there on the Republican side.
Look
pass up Nikki Haley in South Carolina.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
and you got Mary Fallon in Oklahoma.
Martinez.
And in New Mexico, you got Suzanne Martinez.
Yeah.
There's 3 women right there who are all doing a terrific job.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the guy in Detroit? How's he doing?
Well, the guy in Detroit, how about Illinois? We got a Republican, Bruce Rauner.
Yeah.
in Illinois for a change. He's going to have his hands full.
Oh, you bet. He's got his work cut out for him.
I mean, they've got a huge budget deficit. Their pension reform is destroying the state. He's got a lot of problems, but we got a Republican in there.
Yeah, definitely. Clay, Barry, we're out of time, and unfortunately, I have loved having you on. This is the third time we've had you on, and I appreciate all your support and everything. And we will definitely be in touch after the first of the year.
Let's do it, guys.
Okay.
And listen, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas to you as well.
Yeah, and be glad to get on anytime. I enjoy conversing with you guys.
Thank you, Barry.
Bye, Barry.
We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.